Hi guys, it's me Karen, and I've come to do part 3 on this pretty little picture we're doing, and hopefully I will get to the background on this also. And of course this is from the Magical Dawn from Hanna Karlzon. Beautiful book here. And I have started a little bit here, and I'm going to show you how I got this done and what colors I've used. And I'm putting a little green tone in on the reddish pink and the purple colors, just to add a little bit more color, but I'm keeping it in the muted tones. So I'm using Moss Green, which is 1097, and Putty Beige, which is 1083, and Green Ochre, which is 1091. And what I'm doing is I'm using these two colors to do the variation, and then adding the last ochre color in to give it a darker color down in the corners. So these two will work really good together, just giving you this light effect going up, and I will show you how I do that. Hope you've been enjoying the video. I have to apologize for the audio part. I am still getting used to the microphone that I have. I used to do these with my phone, but my phone was a little too quiet on the audio part, and people couldn't hear it, so I bought myself a microphone to use. And it has been a learning curve. So, again, I apologize, but hopefully it sounds good today. Me and my daughter spent a lot of time working on it last night. Okay, so that is just the moss green laid in the corner section here, and this here is the Putty Beige, and we are just going to lay it right on top and bring it out to the edge, leaving a little bit of the edge there for a whiter or lighter color. Since I've kind of done that with the other colors, I thought it'd be nice to give it the same kind of effect. And then going up, we may darken these a little bit. After you get that all done, then you go in with the green ochre, and I just kind of darken the edge here and bring out the color a little bit. You don't have to press too hard on this because the color is laying down on the other two colors, but do you see the difference between this one and this one? It just gives a nice little depth to the little bubble. So I'm going to add that on all of those. Now the little teeny tiny pieces here, I'm going to leave that for the stickles. I think it would add a real pretty color putting on some diamond stickles in here. The diamond stickles is just a glitter glue. And the particular one I use is from Ranger. That's the Stickles brand. It has a nice little kind of gold coloring to it. And since this kind of looks like a olive green that I'm creating, it'll look really pretty with the gold in the diamond stickles. So again, we're just going to go in the moss green and just lay it down in the corner here. You can make it as dark or as light as you like, just kind of feathering it out. And we'll go ahead and do it on this side too. Still haven't figured out the background on this. I don't know if I already said that. I was thinking about it, and a little guy who I'm addressing as a moth-type critter also kind of looks like he could be a sea critter. But the rest of the book doesn't have any sea animals in it, so I'm going to think he lives in the sky. So my plan was to give him either a black background or a blue one. The ochre green coming in to darken the edges even further. I just think that gives it a really nice little look. So on all of the little bumps, even the ones up here on the top, that is the coloration we're going to use. So instead of you having to watch all of that, what I'll do, I'm going to darken just the edges up on this side too, close to the body. Try to give it a little bit more color there. And I'll go ahead and I'll do the same on this little stripe up here. Add some of the green in here. So that's the ochre. Then we'll come in with the moss green. And then the very center, the putty. Oh, that looks nice. We'll do that down here too. So we'll just go ahead and stick that in here on his body. Both sides with the ochre. And the moss. And the putty. Cool. Okay, we're going to do his little head up here too. And we're going to do it the same way. I'm going to put down the moss green, and I'm going to go over these little bumps in here. And both sides here, and kind of give him a round look on his head. And then go in with the putty. And just get all of that, and then go in with the green ochre again and darken the edges a little more. We'll do this in the purple, and his eyes, of course, will have to be done in the black. Okay, now I'm going to, I believe I'm going to do the green coming down here. It's going to be done the same way as I did the red, which is going to lay a nice dark line coming down here. This is the ochre, the green ochre, lighten it up to come. And I'm going to go ahead and do that. I know that those are going to be colored green too, but it'll look fine. This is the moss green. So start heavy-handed and then very light coming out. And then we'll put the putty in there, but I want this dark out here, so we will bring in some of that here. And then just put the putty in here. There we go. And then around these little bumpies here, we will go ahead and put in the darker ochre in these areas and bring it out. Kind of like little V's here. And then just right here on the tip. And it's okay to go up into the pink a little bit. Just blend the colors tiny. Then we'll go in with the moss green, just lightly, and bring it out. Doing it lightly so we can get some of that putty in there. But it blends the colors nice. And you already went dark on the ochre, so. Okay, then just the putty. And remember, Adric's gonna copy the same process on the other side. And I was asked if I could share how I picked my colors or choose my colors. For this particular page, all I did was go to my color chart that I made for my pencils and picked out, and darken these just a tiny bit more here, picked out the muted tones of greens, pinks, purples, and then found a color choice that went with them. So the muted tone is the lightest, and then the second to lightest has got to have kind of a not a bright vibrant color to it, but just kind of a nice soft color. And then of course the deepest color has got to be close enough to the secondary color to make it work on this kind of coloring. So if I show you my color chart, this is the green, the moss green that I chose because it is not as bright as any of these. It's got the more goldish color in it, or brown color. Of course, that went with the green ochre that also has kind of a green tone, but also has the brown. And then the putty is the softest color, almost white, just like the Putty Beige or the Rose Beige. They all have a beige undertone, but a slight color of whatever the other colors are. So this does have a green-ish color. But that's how I pick out the muted colors to do the picture. So I'm just going to go ahead and off camera color the rest on the other side, the little bumpies and that. These little things here are going to be colored in probably the purple down here, or no, we'll put the pink. One of these will be pink, one of these will be purple. But everything that's lined, like down here, we're going to do these in the green. So I'll go ahead and show you that one. So we'll do this in the ochre part, and we are going to get that little scallop part. So we'll do it in the ochre and then in the green moss. And then in the putty. So it'll be done like that on all the leaves. And I'll come back and I'll show you which picture or what color I choose for the top and the bottom of these. So I'll be back in just a second. Hi guys, it's me and I'm back. I've got all the greenish gold done on all the little tips and everything. I'm also going to, if I can get the book down far enough or up high enough here, I forgot about the tail, and I'm going to go ahead and do this tail also in the greens. So we're just going to go in with the moss green, and we're going to kind of blur these lines together and just give it a variation going up. So just dark down here in the bottom section and kind of lightly bringing it up into the second section, and we will do that on all of these. Darkest down at the bottom, and then just lightly bringing the pencil up. Also on this portion here, and just bring it up. So we'll darken the very tips of those with the ochre color. The rest of that is going to be done in the putty color, going up. And if you have a little pink in there, you can always blend it right into the putty. Kind of gives it a nice color. Easy fix if you've gone over the line there a little bit. I tend to do that a lot. And hey, if you blend it in, it looks like you did it on purpose. Okay, then this top piece. Okay, and then just bring in the ochre and darken up just the tips. Just gives that just a little bit more definition there. And it works real well to give it just that little bit of oomph that I like in a picture. Okay, so that part there is done. Now we're going to work on these little wing areas. And I was debating on the purple that's coming down, and then there's pink, and then there's the section to color, and then there's pink here and this section to color. And I was trying to figure out if I wanted to have purple up here. So purple with the line of pink and purple, green, and then pink next to the pink. Or if I wanted to do purple down here and then have the pink next to the pink up here, but not touching the purple. And granted, I have a lot of purple in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do all the tips of the wings. That includes these little tips here, and this little tip here with the star in it. And we're going to do those in purple. So let's go ahead and start. And we're using the exact same colors of purple that we used on the little fluffies. So black grape goes down first, and the second color is the Parma Violet. And I am not going to color over the stars. I'm going to try to leave them white because the stars I don't want to try to erase, and I want them to be bright if I decide to put gold on them. So that is what our tip is going to look like. So we will just do every tip that way. Start with the grape, go in with the Parma Violet, leaving the top bit for the lightest color, which is the grade lavender. And then just bring those together. So I will go ahead and do those on the other side later. And we'll do these little guys up here. And I'm going to leave that circle open also. So just the dark grape, black grape down at the bottom here. And then the Parma Violet and grade lavender. Okay, and then we did want to do his little face up here the same way. So we will go in with the black grape, and I'm going to kind of darken it around this little corner too. Just kind of drawing a line straight down and then coloring upward and coloring downward. Then doing the little corner here. Then go in with the violet one, bring it up a little closer to the top, and then the grade lavender coming in. And there we go here. And we're going to do his eye in black. Black is 935. And we're just going to color in the whole eyeball here. I'm going to leave that little spot white. And that will be the highlight of the eye. And that's just how I do the bug eyes in this book. So he's got nice big eyes. Okay, and then we'll do the little pink ones here. Then we start that off with the black raspberry. We're going to do the same as with the black purple. It's just to the bottom, leaving the little dot there. Not in focus. Here we go. So sorry. So we're just going to go around in here. Do little corners. Nice and dark. Pokeball. Sorry. That's what it reminds me of. I did do it half red. Okay, then we will go in with, we're going to skip the plain raspberry on these and just go in with the clay. Rose, what's it called? Clay rose. And just bring that up. And if you would like to know why I picked the red for the top, it's because I blended a lot of this and I did touch the top of these. And I just figured that would be the easiest one to blend in. And then we just go around. The peach on there. And I can always just color them in if I miss a spot and blend it in with the upper cover color anyway. There we go. So they stand out, but they don't stand out too much. So that is how I'm going to finish those. I'm going to do the same down here, and they will match. Any white spots are going to have the stickles put in. And then I have to think about the background. I've got a couple of choices. Either distress ink it, or I can use pencils and color it, which sounds like a lot of work for me. Or I can paint it, and I am thinking I'm going to use some distress ink and ink around a background. So I will be back after I figure out a color to do that with. Okay, we're back, and I did decide I'm going to do some inking on the back. So I have my distress ink of choice, and it is called Victorian Velvet. And this is a water-based ink that is archival. So it will work on the background here. It does work very nice in this particular book. I have my Tim Holtz distress tool. You can find these on eBay or at your local craft store. And I have one of the spongy guys that hook on with the Velcro. You can use regular sponges for this, craft sponge or anything you can get at the craft store, or if you have makeup sponges, you can use those. All your choice. Just remember, when you're using distress ink, as I said, water base, if you get any water on the paper, it will lift or smear the ink. And that's even after it's dry, so you have to be careful with that part. I love the effect of spraying water on it after you have it down and then blotting it up with a paper towel or a washcloth, and it leaves that really cool distressed look on it. Favorite part of distress inks. Anyway, I tested this ink on another piece of paper, and it is almost a very close match to this color. And if you notice, there's a lot of tentacles around here that I don't particularly want to try to get in between, so getting a color to match, plus for me, makes it easy. Okay, so if you notice, one side is lighter, one side is darker. I am just inking it on one portion. So you get the ink on that side with a very light hand. You want to run your ink on the paper. And when I say light, I mean feather light. Just very lightly tapping that little sponge on the paper. Okay, and it did lay down a nice little color right here. Don't know if you can see that. I'll get you down just a little lower for that. Okay, so just on the part where I have the ink, very, very lightly. I can't do it left-handed. I wish I could. Or maybe I can. Very lightly, just touching the paper. And more or less on the paper, not on your coloring. But because I used Prisma marker or Prisma pencils and they're wax based, it's not going to stick to the wax. It's just going to go on the paper. And then just in kind of a circular motion, I'm just going to bring that color out very lightly. But like I said, if I get a boo-boo or make a mistake or it is too dark in some spots, a little water on a spritzer bottle and a little washcloth are my best friends. So we're just going to bring that down, running it in a little motion like this, just to get the ink out. And see where I'm getting a line here. If you just keep running the ink very gently over that area, you will blur out that line. I'm going to go lighter up towards the top area here, so I'm not going to put any more ink on the sponge. And I'm just going to run it around. And even if you can't see it, it is laying down some ink, so you do not have to press hard on this. And I'm just going to go around the whole guy. Try not to get into the light areas here. If I didn't get enough white, it will show up in those areas. And just kind of go up in here. And I'm running out of ink, so I'll put a little bit more on. And then I have to be extremely careful coming in because I have more ink on the sponge and it will show up more. I do have a more detailed tool to use, but sometimes I find just using the curve of the sponge to go into curve areas is enough for me. If you're just starting out with distress inks, you will want to practice on a different sheet of paper before you start laying it down on the coloring books. But basically that's the kind of look I'm going for. And we'll just come down to the bottom and add a little more and just bring it out. Just a nice subtle color. Okay. We'll do that up here at the top by his face. Very lightly. You can always put more ink down, but it's hard to take away. Just like when you're using your markers. And then we'll just bring it up and around. And I am getting some lines in there. And they're not going to bother me because, like I said, I can either work on blurring those out, or I will use some water splatters on here, which will give it a cool effect too. And I think I will end up doing that. Because, you know, it's always easier to do this stuff when you're not on camera. Okay, go up here. I'm going to get a little more ink on there. Round in a corner. Up his side here. Sorry, I'm not on camera. Bring it down and then just pull it out. And that gives it a nice glow. Put a little more in the kind of corners here. Yeah, and I got some in there. So what I'll do is kind of blend it in. If it doesn't blend in too much, I will just take some water and put some splatters. But since I have it there, I'm going to have to see if I can. Yeah, I got more of the white on that side than I did over there. It's okay. I will fix it. Okay, darker in here is where I want it. Okay, now what I'm going to do is do some water spritzing on there. And I'll show you what that effect is. So, I'm taking just a plain old, hello, see your face. Let's bring you up a little. I am so sorry. It's a distress water sprayer. What it does is not put down a fine mist. It kind of splats some of the water down. And I will show you what I mean by that. And yes, I'm going to get the book wet. I have a washcloth that I keep here at my desk that I use for this purpose. And all I'm going to do is take it and spray some water down and then wipe it up. Working a little spot at a time so you know where you're putting your water. And if there's a spot you don't want it, try to get it out of there. You can do the same thing. And just keep going until you like the effect. Like up here where I didn't like what I did. And just wipe it up. I don't want to put too much water on it, but I want it to look cool, so. Okay. And I don't know if you can see the effect that it caused here with the little variations of the water. Okay. When it dries, it'll be brighter. So it really nicely affected up here. So when this is dry, it won't take too long. to water down here to make sure I have no water left on the page. When it's dry, then I will put some white splatter around the butterfly with paint. And all these little dots I'm going to put a little bit of stickle in, or I'll paint them white, I'm not sure yet. All these little dots here will get the stickles, and the stickles look like this. They come in this bottle. It's a Ranger product. I get this at Joann's, Hobby Lobby. Comes in a 3-pack at Christmas time. This color, a silver and a gold. And use your 40% off coupon. They're kind of cheap. You can also buy these on eBay. If you just type in the word Stickles or Tim Holtz Stickles, it'll come up. And I'm going to put that on all the dots up here in the wings. All these little dots that I left uncolored and all these little bloops here. Gives it a really pretty effect. So I'm going to put that on there. I may use that on these little dots, I may not. I think that might be just a little bit too much, but these will be painted either white or something. Anyway, what I'm getting at is I am done with the picture, and what I will do is post a still of it when it is completely finished. That's with all the stickles and when it's dry and with the splatters and everything. So thank you so much for watching, everybody. End of part 3. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I've got my fingers crossed that the audio on this particular video worked well. Let me know in the description if this is better than the last couple of videos. And like I've always said, if you like what you're seeing, please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, and give me a thumbs up. It helps me. And like I said, have a great day. Take care, everyone. Bye now.